Good evening, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans, and welcome into East End Arena, or also known as Ag Golden Arena, for another edition of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day. It's our pregame show brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools, Terraco, and Goaltenders are sponsors, as always, for Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day, as well as everything else we do here on the network. We got a matchup between two teams tonight who are kind of on the opposite ends of the standings right now. Transcona coming in with a 1-1-2 record, and Charleswood with a 3-0-1 record. Really, both of these teams are pretty close to each other. It's early in the season, but yeah, as for this matchup tonight for both of these teams, it will be Charleswood's only of the weekend, and as for the Transcona Railer Express, they'll be back at home again on Thanksgiving Sunday to go up against the Fort Garry Twins here from East End Arena. But yeah, if you look at the standings so far, even though Transcona has fallen short in 3 of their 4 contests to date, they've been close games. I mean, we'll get into it in just a moment here, but they got 14 goals for, 16 goals against. They've been really good on the penalty kill, not as much on the power play, as them and Charles would have the same power play percentage. For the Hawks, they come into this one right now with the least goals against in the league, and 13 goals for, so this is a team that's been able to put the puck in the net, a team that's been playing pretty good defensively to start things off. And in terms of how these teams kind of stack up heading into this week in the power rankings, the Hawks dropped by 1 spot. For the Railers, they didn't move any. If they're able to come up with a huge weekend this week, though, with a win or two, maybe they do move up in these power rankings, however. But as for how these two teams kind of stack up heading into this matchup, so we try to find out why it's not coming through here. There we go. So for the Transcona Railer Express, they come into tonight's matchup, of course, with a dramatic past week of action. Back-to-back OT games. They won one of them against the Pembina Valley Twisters, and then, of course, losing this past Sunday against the St. Vital Junior Victorias. All 1-goal losses so far, and holding a lead has been a bit of trouble for this Railer Express team. They were up 2-0 in their opener against the St. Boniface Riels. Ended up losing that game. We're up 2-0 after the first period against the St. Vital Junior Victorias last Sunday as well, and of course lost in OT. So this is a team that's been controlling the type of play in the game, where they've had way more shots compared to shots against compared to their opponents, but it's about finishing it off and holding that lead and being mentally strong. Can they do that tonight against a Charleswood Hawks team that's looking for a bounce back, coming off of their first loss of the season in overtime this past Sunday to the Raiders Junior Hockey Club? They're defending their house well, though. Only 23 shots given up against per game on average, and getting special teams going, I think, is going to be a huge part of Charleswood, what they're looking to improve on moving forward this season, because they've proven they can put that puck in the net and defend even strength-wise, but penalty kill and power play percentage-wise, they're near the bottom of the league there. So that kind of goes against everything else that this team has been doing so far this year, as they're near the top of the standings and near the top of nearly every stat category right now. But it's the first matchup of the season between these two teams. Charleswood plays with a lot of speed. They want to come at you aggressively and play with a lot of pace. And for the Transcona Railer Express, historically, this is a team that likes to bang you up and bruise you around and likes to get physical, get chippy. We'll see how both of these teams decide to play it here tonight, as we're just about to get set here underway from East End Arena on this Friday night for mmjhl action. By the way, we have a second camera angle tonight coming from the visitors' end, so the Charleswood side. We got our main camera as well. Our scoreboard's ready to go, and we're about ready to go here on mmjhl game day as the Hawks, led out by Keegan Gordon, they enter onto the ice first. From what I can see, Transcona's coaching staff making their way around to the benches. So that's going to conclude our pregame show, ladies and gentlemen. This should be an interesting one here tonight from East End Arena. Our first ever edition of mmjhl Game Day here from Ed Golden Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba. You're watching mmjhl Game Day. Thank you for watching our pregame show. National anthems and puck drop next for the first period. In this game brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Enjoy the game, everybody. Sage Delarone gets the start tonight for the Transcona Railer Express in the pipes. And for the Charleswood Hawks, it's this year's so far leading save percentage leader in Keegan Gordon, number 1. As both teams about to get set here for some Friday night regular season action in the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. I'm your play-by-play commentator for tonight's action. As always, Graham, the G-Show, Forsyth. Both these teams facing off against each other for the first time this season. As the puck is dropped, we're underway here from East End Arena. Sperber tried to chase down that loose puck early on. Elliot Lewis sends it to the slot, but that pass won't go. Tyson Pruden along the boards working. That's actually number 23 and Nathan Turner among the Railer Express point leaders the first few weeks of this season. As this gets chipped up almost by Nathan Turner past a Hawks defenseman. But this gets sent out of play and we get a face-off early on here. In this game brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools, Terrico Goaltenders, and Terrico for Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Check out their store location on 995 Miltz-Eagle Drive, or check out their website at cancentralsportscards.com. As the Railer Express working this D-to-D in their own end before this gets saucer cross ice off of Traverses this onto the stick of number 6, and Kyle Todorek down low takes the body out in front though for Transcona as Gordon covers it up. But whistle went pretty early as that puck was well loose. For this Charleswood Hawks team, coming in has only allowed about 23.3 shots against per game. For Transcona, they've outshot their opponents by quite a bit on average all season long, of course. Have lost a lot of one-goal games, so it's about finding ways to finish the job, seal the deal here early on for Derek Gagno's team, where for Derek Gagno has been here for quite a while. For this Railer Express squad, has been through ups and downs and has had championship caliber rosters, have had rosters where, a bit younger like last year, this year coming in with more experiences. That shot from number 4 and Trey Sellen turned away. And we got a line change coming up here. As face-off will be inside of the Charleswood end. Draw will be sent down below, won by the Railer Express as this is sent up top. That shot through, but blocked, turned aside into the corner. McCorster took the shot. This gets sent up to Berchanski. Berchanski's shot tipped on the way through, but it goes wide of the net afterwards. As down low, the Railer Express looking to work it. It's number 9 in there to help. 19 drops it back in Sorrell. As the Railer Express try to work this along the boards, still keeping it in. Aggressive pinch from Berchanski as now he's down low. Sends this puck along the boards down low. Gets sent back into his direction, but he went back to his point already, and Berchanski still keeps it in as Charleswood hemmed in their zone still. Reverse onto the stick of the captain and Van Norman. He sends it right back. Number 7 and Nathan Glavina as this gets broken out now into neutral ice, but sent in once again deep by the Railer Express. Number 28 and Stevenson who sent it in. As Charleswood looking to take advantage of a Railer Express line change before going off themselves. Dudich dumping it in deep. So this gets sent to Ferguson. Sends it across. Big hit laid on near the Railers' end. So it'll be Berube challenging Van Alstyne. And whistle on the play as the net goes off. With 17:23 here remaining in the first period of action. Draw will be once again in the Hawk zone. Number 21 in St. Laurent for the Railer Express out to take that draw but lost it. Sent up the middle, just out of the reach there of number 21 in McPherson. As this turned over now, flipped into neutral ice as it's onto the stick of Braden Berube. Berube tries sending this into the middle with a pass, but it'll be turned over and now skating with it. And through to Anderson, almost a one-handed pass there from number 8. And Waddell, shot wide of the net, just high as that goes out of play. And we'll get a stoppage and whistle in play here coming up. Watching Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League hockey here on the network. Vandenbush out to take the draw for the Railer Express. This gets banked off the boards as Charleswood lets you get on speed. Carlson trying to slice through Jacob Howe, but couldn't on that potential rush chance as this pass got sent into the neutral zone. Now an offside on the play. It's Transcona a bit too far ahead upon entering the zone. Vandenbush wearing the C this season for Transcona. One of their top end scorers year in and year out in his career here so far. As for Vandenbush, an 04-born player. 2 more years left of eligibility in this league as Jacob Howell banks it off of the glass and out, sending number 27 Ryder McClure on the chase. But this gets turned over and now Charleswood. Lewis with the 3-on-2 developing. Has Sperber with him. That shot turned aside there by Sage Delarone as that puck can't find number 27 in McClure. on the long stretch pass attempt. Sperber down low, trying to force a turnover on the forecheck. He does. Penner sends it back down low to him, but that pass cut off by Berchanski. Berchanski sends a short pass now to Vandenbush. Vandenbush, just before the blue line, sends one on net wide of Keegan Gordon. As Charleswood able to transition up. Pass sent across to Penner, but couldn't handle it that cleanly. Had to stop up a bit before sending it in just before the blue line. Oh, it's Glavina who jumps up, activates into the play from his point position. This into the skates of Traverse. Just survives there by getting it to a teammate quickly. Almost a turnover in the Railers' favor. As Glavina able to hold this puck in now. Over to Stevenson, who gets knocked down. As this will be dropped and an offside on the play. So it was Turner. And I believe number 17 and Tyson Pruden was with him. Draw one this time by Turner. As this gets turned over and sent across now to Trey Sullen, who's Sullen just before the blue line sends this in opposite corner. Railers trying to get in on the forecheck. They do win that puck battle, that race to the puck. This gets to the point, shot fanned on there from number 26 on this Railer Express team. As they work it up high to Trey Sullen. Sullen now, he unloads a shot, gets deflected on the way through, loose puck jabbed out there by the Railers, but still nothing. Sullen sends it to the net again, where it'll be picked up by Trey Turner. Plays this to the point, that shot deflected wide by Pruden. Pruden now sends it back to the point where 26 has it walking in, and a glove save made by Keegan Gordon. As we get another stoppage in play here coming up. .14:05 remaining in this period. That shot from Todorek blocked. And going all the way down to recover at number 20 and Jacob Howell, who maneuvers in his own end before sending this off the boards. And now it's sent up. And a shot save made by Keegan Gordon. Jeremy shot enough with the shot. A shot enough out to take the draw still. Ends up losing this to number 13 in Morrison. As Morrison starts to skate up. This puck sent into the feet of number 6 in Todorek. As this gets sent up now. That shot turned aside by Keegan Gordon. Jackson Sorrell with the dangerous shot on the chance. Shot enough. Drops it now to Sorrell, who plays that up top to Howell. Howell now tries going Dudity. His shot ends up being blocked by the leg of Dudic. As this gets sent back into the Charleswood end. Sent up Dudic off of the helmet, off the deflection of Morrison. As Transcona sends this in once again. Gage Ferguson on the dump-in. As Ferguson remains out there, this puck gets sent all the way into the Railers' end. All the way down for an icing. And with that, we got another stop in play. 12:53 remaining. So we'll get yet another face-off inside of the Hawks' end, where it's 7-1 in shots in favor of Transcona early on. Haven't really given Charleswood much offensive zone opportunity at all, as that shot off of the draw will be way wide. Number 27 in McClure took the shot. As the Hawks try to get to speed is Dudic heading the other way, one-on-one Dudic. Oh, he loses possession of the puck coming down there on Berchanski. As now with speed, here come the Railer Express. McClure chipping it in deep, trying to race on it on number 15. In Arrows Bassin, as that shot gets sent on net, turned aside by Gordon again. So another face-off coming to the blocker hand side of the Hawks goaltender. So we got a clear angle of the Hawks face-off win there to Glavina. Glavina sidestepping, hesitating for a moment before sending that pass across to a defenseman. The Hawks try to work this up, but could not. This gets played off of the boards. And now sent in by Vandenbush. Vandenbush was given chase, but this will be turned over again. Enerson sends this over to McPherson. McPherson now skating in, tries to dangle through number 3 in Matejchuk, but could not. This pack gets sent up into the Railer Express zone on the body. Matejchuk taking it. As this gets held in, as this shot off of the pad, released by Matejchuk. Save made by Gordon. This puck sent all the way in deep into the Hawks end for another icing. Been a lot of that so far from this Hawks team, as they look a bit tired right now. This Railer Express team doing a good job of keeping this puck in deep, not allowing Charleswood to exit out of the zone cleanly. Be Turner to take the draw for Transcona. Turner ends up winning it to the point where it's to Jacob Howe. Howe sent it to a teammate in Sullen. That got blocked on the way through as this puck ends up in the neutral ice again. A hit laid on by Transcona, getting an applause from their crowd on that as Keegan Gordon plays this up the boards. Backdoor attempt chance for Transcona as a Hawk takes a spill now. This gets played up to Elliot Lewis as Lewis has stood up, but Todoric was the one who ended up on the ice. It's now Waddell on the backhand, shields this puck before sending it in just past the red line and deep into the Charleswood, or the Transcona zone. As Van Alstyne, his attempt in, hit a body. Now here's Braden Berube. His shot turned aside by the paddle of Keegan Gordon. So that makes it 10 shots to 1 now for this Railers team. That's the whistle blown. It'll be a Hawk and Elliott who gets kicked out of the zone. St. Laurent ends up losing the draw. The man who came in was Sperber on the face-off win. Now it's sent opposite corner by St. Laurent. Braden Berube, first one on it, but ended up not being able to take it any further. This gets played into the Charleswood corner, going to work with it, and now it's turned over into the Charleswood Hawks possession. Lewis tries sending the pass over to number 9 and Sperber, but could not. This pass in the neutral zone sent across, and now here's a chance for Charleswood. 2-on-1 developing. Lewis has Sperber, sends it to the net, off of the pad of Delarone. That ends up in front again, but turned aside. And the Hawks, with their most dangerous chance in a while, it's through the legs. Shodenough deflects this in deep. Out there with the teammate in Jackson Sorrell, who was first on the forecheck. Shodenough now in the corner. Sorrell still out there. Is this puck able to be sent out? And now Shodenough, side of the net, looking for a wraparound chance, but nothing there. Charleswood closed it up well, so they try to get in transition, but could not again. So right now, Transcona taking everything away in the neutral zone pretty much, aside from a few occasions. But you can see it. Their defensemen playing really aggressive up into the play and activating in. There's a whistle blown. High stick called on the play. With 8:55 remaining in this first period of action, score remains scoreless for the time being. It'll be Vandenbush out to take the draw for this Railer Express squad. The Hawks can win this draw to get some sort of possession. They can't. Once again, won by the Railer Express, sent in deep where Van Norman will be the first one to recover this. Tries going D to D, but strong forecheck there. Number 27 in McClure almost getting that puck off of a lunging effort. Sent in again by number 7 Berchanski, forcing this Hawks team to set up before breaking up again. Dudic sends a pass across, that one missing number 26 in Monin. Down low now, Dudic picks this puck up, trying to chip this past number 24 in Chudley, but cannot. As in the corner, both teams going to battle now. Trying to get this loose puck out, and it'll be Vandenbush who gets it across to Turner, and this gets sent to number 27 in McClure, who gets rubbed out along the corner, and now drawing a penalty will be Vandenbush. So it'll send Transcona to the power play for the first time tonight. Send Van Norman, the captain, to the box. 7:57 remaining. Sends Transcona on to the power play, the first power play of the game. It's not been anywhere near as strong as their penalty kill, which ranks top 3 in the league. This power play ranking more so near the bottom, but some good puck moving to start off. Berchanski hit a shot, rebound, there Usbek scores! Number 24, Evan Chudley picks up the rebound off the shot of Berchanski with multiple bodies in front. Keegan Gordon can't control this rebound cleanly. Charleswood unable to box out. Too many men in front of the net to cover for them against Transcona, and Chudley, the man who ends up being forgotten about, ends up cashing in as 1-0 for this Railer Express team, who has started off so strong here tonight. But maybe a response from Carlson as his backhand into the crest of Delarone. In this first period, brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools, Carico Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Turner taking the draw against Carlson. Carlson tried to get a shot off on the draw, but was taken away as this gets sent in by Sullen all the way down for an icing into the Charleswood zone. Draw won by this Railer Express team. Played off the boards and chipped out there by number 17, Tyson Pruden. Back on the stick of number 3 in Matejchuk. Matejchuk with Penner draped over him for a second. Gets a breakout pass up. Transcona chips this one in, but it'll be delayed offside on the play as they stretch this up to Penner. Penner now trying to split the D, but can't. Strong effort there from the Transcona defense to get back. Matejchuk getting a stick on Penner. Now it'll be Todoruk, who reverses to Matejchuk. Matejchuk now finds an outlet man in Sullen, who waits before trying to send this, threading this into the neutral ice, but it'll be Pruden who ends up getting in deep. And out of his net to play, that was Keegan Gordon. As kept in by this Railer Express team now. Onto the stick of Glavina, who Glavina decides to skate with it, trying to cut through shot enough but could not, and now turned over onto the Railer Express in the offensive zone. It'll be Penner who sends this into the opposite corner now. Traverse tries sending it in down low but cannot. Sean gloves this down before sending it in deep onto the Railer Express net. So this gets played D to D. Sent up and now into the possession of Sean. Now Jacob, his pass. Jacob Howell, that is. His pass ends up going all the way down for an icing And with that, we'll get a face-off back inside of the Charleswood end of things. 12-3 in shots in favor of this Railer Express team. Evan Chudley giving this team the 1-goal lead as well. Moments ago on the power play, Sperber behind the net battling with 2 Railer Express players. This puck gets played along top of the right face-off circle now, but turned over into the slot. Lewis unloads and turned aside by Delarone. Delarone sharp on every single one of the saves he's made so far tonight out of the shots he's faced. Elliot Lewis to take the draw against Vandenbush. Vandenbush able to win it, sent out and into a Charleswood Hawks player. Skates for a moment, and Sean, who got it up to a teammate. This one now dumped in off the backboard. Side of the net, almost gloved by Delarone, but a stick by a Hawk didn't allow that to happen. Sent on net, deflected there. Save made by Delarone. As now Transcona has to find a way to get out of their own. And this goes down for an icing. But winning the race to the puck will be the Railer Express. As this gets sent onto the stick of Sperber, deflects it in on net as that gets covered up this time by Delarone. A bit of a snow shower afterwards, as Monin stopped in front of him. Monin along with Morrison and Dudich out for this offensive zone face-off opportunity. Noah St. Laurent on to take it for Transcona as draw won by the Hawks. Set up at the point. That shot from Van Alstyne ends up just going wide. As in the corner. Railer Express looking to work it up, but Dudich forces the turnover along the wall. Waddell from the point. Backpedals before sending this in deep. Dudich protecting along the wall. Able to muscle his way by to Waddell at the point. His shot wide of the net as it was low. But Dudich down low, feeds it out in front. Almost connects with Monin. As this line sustaining the most pressure we've seen so far tonight for this Hawks team. Shots now 12-6. Dudich back with it. Dudich drags. He shoots. Oh, hits something on the way up over Delarone. Side of the net now. Monin tries to dangle through but can't. Has that puck stripped away from him into the slot. Turned over to the point. Van Alstyne unloads, but the net is off. Van Alstyne afterwards, I think, took a shot from Braden Berube. With 3:50 remaining in this first period of action. It's been a first period so far that's been mostly Railer Express attack, but in the final moments of it, Charleswood finally looking like they're turning up the heat on their forecheck a bit as this puck gets sent out of play. With another face-off coming to the blocker hand side of Delarone. Delarone catching with his right hand, so a southpaw in net. Don't see it too often, but when you do, it's kind of interesting seeing a goaltender with a left-handed blocker instead of the standard. Catching with the left, block with the right. Glavina at the point. His shot, gets into traffic on the way through. That deflected over the net this time around as Transcona tries to chip it out. This puck still remains in their end for the time being. Rimmed out to Sellon, who gets us into the middle for St. Laurent. Puck in deep and given chase is Turner, but this gets played off the backboards nicely to evade that by Van Norman. Pass sent up to McPherson, who's trying to break through with some speed now coming in. McPherson wins the race to the puck. Gets it to a teammate in Enerson. Held in at the point now, Sean. His shot deflects off of Railer Express body. Enerson down low now. Side of the net, it's Bazin who ended up jumping up into the play. Puck rims out of the zone, and now Charleswood Sends it in again before going off for a change. Transcona maybe looking to take advantage of this line change. Sullen just past the red line, sends this in deep. And out of play, so face-off will remain outside and actually coming back just outside of the Railer Express zone near their blue line, closest to our broadcast angle. A shot enough, taking the draw against number 28 in Braden Stevenson. Draw would be won by Transcona and sent the other way, but turned over and now onto the stick of Cole Penner, coming down with some speed. Drops it to Stevenson, sends this into the slot, but couldn't reach a player there as it was covered up well. This stretch pass up now into the neutral zone. A bit too far for Michael Todorick to handle. So we'll get another face-off coming inside of the Railer Express end. It's kind of funny how this has shifted. A lot of icings early on for Charleswood. Now we're seeing the same for Transcona. I think as this first has gone along, of course, Charleswood has become more aggressive on the attack. More aggressive along the boards too. This gets sent in the skates of Michael Todorick, who looks to drive this wide past Johnson. This gets passed into the neutral zone and turned over onto the stick of Traverse. Potential 3-on-2 developing. Draw pass. That shot from Stevenson blocked. As now it's shot enough. Just past the red line. Sends it in deep for Transcona. Now Charleswood. A minute 26 remaining now in the period. This in the neutral zone, turned over onto the stick. Number 27, Ryder McClure unloads a shot turned aside by Keegan Gordon. As Transcona looks to keep this puck in. Down low into the slot, that shot scores! Tic-tac-toe onto the stick of Ryder McClure. His team skates to do the flyby by their bench. And just another example of this Railer Express forecheck being too much for this Hawks team to handle. The Hawks have an opportunity to get this puck out. Transcona does a good job of holding out the line. They're able to find some space to work down low and by the net in a high real estate area. As you saw it on our second camera, McClure with an absolute picture-perfect snipe cleanly over the glove. As that shot scores for Charleswood! They cut back even into this game as we're still in the process of updating our own score here. And what a way to answer. Matt Carlson unloads a beauty. I was just talking about McClure's beautiful shot over the glove, passed it by Gordon. Well, that time around, Carlson literally goes up and over the right arm of Delarone as we got a 2-1 game here. Some life from Charleswood late. As this gets played to the point, Van Norman, his shot through, deflected. Oh, just getting a piece of it was Delarone. All the way through 26 seconds remain in this period. This fast-paced hockey game so far. Carlson creates a turnover. His shot on that rebound there, but good defense in front from Transcona to get a stick on it. Shot sent on net again. Oh, that pass to Carlson. His shot sent off of the post. As what a strong shift to end things off here in this first for the Charleswood Hawks. They'll be looking to keep building on that momentum heading into the second period of action. So our second camera operator makes his way back to us here. And yeah, I mean, shots end up being pretty lopsided to start off this period. I mean, if you look at the stats, I guess that was to be expected coming in since Transcona has controlled that portion of a lot of their games. But yeah, we started to see the Hawks adjust as the period went along. Great shot by Matt Carlson to make this a 2-1 game to cut into the lead. Sperber and Glavino with the assists on that goal. But, yeah, I mean, both teams playing with a lot of pace. You can make the argument Railers were playing with a bit more in that first period, but as Charleswood got used to their speed more so, we started to see better adjustments in their game and thus more offensive opportunities. Yeah, as the Zamboni makes his way around the ice, we're going to send it to a promo screen here. And we'll be back to update you on everything that happened during this first period of action and then some with scores and updates from around game action that is happening on this Friday night around the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. You're watching the mmjhl game day broadcast here for Transcona versus the Charleswood Hawks. The Transcona Railer Express, that is. Coming up, second period play here from East End, here on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca for mmjhl game day. Stick around, everybody. Welcome back to East End Arena here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and Transcona, as the Transcona Railer Express, the home team, currently up by a score of 2-1 after the first 20 minutes of play here. As we take a look at the shots, they were 14-9 in favor of the Express. They were up 10-1 in that period at one point. But in terms of who scored the goals here, it started off with Chudley, and then McClure scoring the second goal of the night. And then Matt Carlson right after for Charleswood coming down and cutting into this lead at 2-1. As for the other games going on in the league right now, the Raiders Junior Hockey Club up 2-0 over the Fort Garry Twins. The St. James Junior Canucks are up 6-1 over the River East Royal Knights. Rory Neal in the lineup for the first time this season with a big 2 goals, making a huge impact in a crucial game, a crucial weekend here coming up for St. James, looking to get in the win column for the first time tonight. As for the Stonewall Jets and Pembina Valley Twisters out in Morris, Manitoba, it's Pembina Valley up by a score of, Stonewall up by a score of 1-0 currently, just after the first period, as it came to its conclusion around the same time as this first period ended, as this game and the Jets versus Twisters started at the same time at 8 p.m. As for the Canucks game and the Raiders game, those started at 7:30. But as for the stats around the league in terms of the stats leaders from these players, as we take a look at the points, taking a look at one of the leading goal scorers in the league to start off the season tonight in Cole Penner, who has been a huge addition to this year's roster. Coming over from that trade from the Fort Garry Twins, as the Twins end up acquiring Rylan Huging from the Hawks from last season. But as for the point leaders and the goalie leaders, we're getting a chance to see one of the top goaltenders in the league tonight, of course, in Keegan Gordon, who has 0 losses on his record so far and .959 save percentage as well. Could very well change tonight, however, as Transcona currently up 2-1 heading into this one. As that first period went along, I think we started to see a shift in things like I talked about. A lot of icings from the Hawks to start things off in that period. And then, like I said, they started to get to their game. They started to get the pressure more so, and more time spent inside of the Railer Express end of things. And then we started to see more icings from the Railer Express, who were trying to stretch that puck up or just flip it out, and resulted in face-offs coming back in their end. I thought that, for the most part, their goaltender, Sage Delarone, had a pretty strong performance. He's only a 2006-born goaltender, so potentially a lot of years left for him in this league. As for Keegan Gordon, he's an 04, so he gets at least one more year in this league. Strong performance to start off this season in the pipes. Been pretty steady for this team, but Charleswood, they're going to want to see more out of their top-end players this period coming up, too. They got a good boost from Matt Carlson as he cut into that Railer Express lead shortly after they went up 2-0. Speaking of the Hawks, they make their way onto the ice now as period 2 is almost set to get underway here from East End and Transcona in Winnipeg, Manitoba. As there they are, the home side, the Railer Express making their way onto the ice now. This second period, you'll see Terrico and goaltenders on special teams as our sponsors there. Going into the second, as already mentioned, 2-1 in favor of the home side in the Railer Express. As for the Railer Express this season, still the same coaching staff and Derek Gagnon. For Charleswood, a bit of a change is Dylan Smith, former Hawk and a champion this league, multiple-time champion and former captain for the Hawks, is behind their bench this season. Taking over Phil Wilkinsman, of course, who decided to take a bit of a step back and go into more of that assistant general managing role, that side of things behind the scenes. So that is his position on the staff this season. And of course, this our first game of the season and ever here from East End Arena. It's been nice to see the support this team has gotten out here tonight from both sides, actually, as both sets of fans have come out in strong numbers here tonight. We're waiting for the referees to make their way onto the ice, as they finally do. So the nets still have to get put into place here. So I guess, of course, that is the referee's job at the end of the day. Sometimes you see the players, helping them out and doing it for them, but the players electing to save their energy for what should be a high-intensity second period coming up. Be Nolan Vandenbush out with his line to take the draw against Elliot Lewis and his line with Sperber and Carlson. Could argue it's Charleswood's top line out against Transcona's top line as we're underway here in period number 2. Draw won by Charleswood and sent in onto the stick of Berchanski, who turns it over straight away into the neutral zone. Puck gets sent into the Transcona end all the way down into the Charleswood end. No icing on the play as Gordon came out of his net to leave it there for Glavina. Strong forecheck to start off here from Transcona. Chudley sent it up to Berchanski, but that pass ends up not connecting with him and all the way down onto the stick of goaltender Delarone, who sends this out straight away into the Transcona zone again. This puck goes as onto the stick of McClure. Most recent goal scorer for this Transcona Railer Express team, turned over and into the Hawk zone again. Sean off the backboards. That bounces over the stick of number 2 and David Johnson. Behind the back pass from behind the net doesn't connect for the Railer Express as along the boards. Number 17 and Tyson Pruden still out there on the chase. Vandenbush still out there getting sidestepped by Elliott as David Johnson plays a short pass to Penner just before the blue line sends this in deep as the Hawks able to go off and get a change. Todoric sent a pass into the neutral zone. Puck ends up down low deep again. So it'll be picked up by Sullen. Sullen going to work now. Short pass over to Turner, who's pass out in front. Misses. Net off once again. As we'll get another whistle here with 18:23 left in this period. Yeah, I don't know why. In some arenas, the nets come off of their bearings pretty easily. This arena is seemingly one of them. So far as we've seen this happen multiple times already. As mentioned, this draw will be a tie-up and won by this Hawks team as Todoric slips on the ice but ends up making a play with his stick to get it to Sullen, who gets a shot on net. And another face-off to Gordon's glove hand side. Turner take the draw for Transcona. And it'll be won by Turner. Just getting to it there was Jacob Howell, who gets it to Sullen into the slot for Pruden. But Pruden couldn't let that go. It's passed over to Waddell. Waddell looking for options. Threads a pass across to Penner as Penner cuts through, drops it back to Stevenson, now on the stick Not sure who that is, but Van Alstyne from the point. His shot unable to go through, is turned over other way. Sullen drop back to Turner. Sullen in the corner, cross ice feed into the slot for Pruden, but that hit 17 skates. So it ends up down low again. Sullen takes a tumble to the ice. No call on the play. Could have been a trip. Penner ends up getting a pass up. Nice diving effort by Waddell as Penner down the right side. Oh, just high of the net as this rims all the way out. Van Norman chasing it down. Number 18 and Michael Todoric challenges. Unsuccessful on that forecheck though as it gets sent up into the neutral zone as Penner protects. Has Stevenson with him. Penner has that sticked away. So that puck ends up into the board, sent all the way down deep into the Hawks' end for an icing. Good chances from both teams. Both of these teams liking to get to their speed game off of the attack, wanting to try to at least. And we've seen that neutral zone opened up a bit more to start things off here in this period as this ends up into the neutral zone. Speaking of, short pass over. Oh, shot enough. What a move. Scores! In what might be the goal of the year so far. A display of pure skill there from one of the Railer Express's assistant captains, and Jeremy Shotonoff. The pass is behind his back. And what does he do with it? He cradles it by dragging it through his legs, kicks it up to his stick. A little backhand, forehand tuck through the 5-hole. On a silky move from number 9. Very well could be a player by the end of this weekend, depending on how it goes for Transcona. That could be near the top in the points categories, as he has already been. A 3-1 lead for this Transcona Railer Express team. Charleswood looked like they had some decent opportunities to potentially get this game back to even early on in this frame, as we still are early on in it. It would be Transcona who would make some magic happen. Number 9, Jeremy Shotonoff. As this gets played all the way down to the Railer Express zone. This hit laid on along the boards. This puck picked up by Braden Berube as Berube plays it to his teammate before getting knocked off the puck. McPherson sends this into the opposite corner, where it'll be number 15 in Eros Bazin going to battle. Bazin able to get to this puck first, taking a check along the boards. Continues down low though. Bazin, an absolute wrecking ball on this shift so far. Tries to lay a hit on a Railer Express player down low. Ends up losing the puck in the process though. Going back to hunt it. It's in the corner. McPherson in there along with Enerson. It's on to Bazin's stick. Plays it up to Johnson across to Glavina. His shot, oh, just off of the glove. On the way through, save made by Delarone as this puck gets sent all the way in deep into the Charleswood zone now. Matejchuk, first one on the puck. He gets tied up along the boards. 4 Hawks in the corner along with 3 Railer Express players. Charleswood has to be careful here though if they lose this puck battle. And trying to get it out, trying to drag it from the boards are both these teams, and it's Transcona who does. That shot on net and glove down by Gordon. Came off of the stick of number 25, and Gage Ferguson. $14:25 remaining on the clock in this period. Vandenbush to take it against Elliott Lewis. Lewis wins it to the boards to Van Norman. Van Norman ends up playing it off the backboards to Sperber. Sperber's clear out attempt gets sent out of play. So we'll have a face-off inside the Hawk zone again. Vandenbush squaring up with Lewis again. As Lewis able to win the face-off draw again. Waddell chokes up on his stick before feeding the pass up to Carlson. Carlson sends it in opposite corner. As Jacob Howell sent that to a teammate. Charles Wood keeping this puck in. Clogging up the boards well. Sent across Waddell. His shot through, but low. Too low to get by. And he skates as this is chipped out now by McClure. McClure trying to sidestep past Van Norman to get to that puck, but cannot. This gets chipped off the boards into neutral ice and sent in deep again to the Hawk zone. On a delayed offside here for Transcona. The Railer Express along the boards. That's Todoric. Good stick action with Carlson. It's Selling with it. Cross ice attempt backdoor. Trying to go with that pass, but too aerial for Turner to settle it down. Turner, though, kicks it up to himself along the boards. Takes this around the net. Trying to go to the point to Todoric, but good defensive stick there from Carlson, who just decides to send this one out. Puck sent in onto Gordon. Tape as he almost turns this over in the neutral zone. Now onto the stick of Stevenson as Stevenson sends this on net and turned aside by Delarone on the shot. With 12:54 remaining. In a 3-1 hockey game for the Railer Express. 2-goal lead, 18-13. They lead in the shots as well. Draw will be won by the Railer Express this time. Both teams in the defensive zone doing a really good job of getting possession off of the face-off here. As puck ends up in the neutral zone again. Shadanoff has this intercepted by the glove of Penner. So he tried to chip it off of the glass high. Now Whelan, number 19, playing it off the boards. And Sorrell offside on the play as Michael Todoric was making his move to the net. Sigh of frustration as they look up to the ceiling. Never a fun feeling when you're a player that potentially has a prime opportunity like that almost was for Todoric. When an offside happens, it kind of deflates you a bit for a moment, but then you get back right on that horse, right? Or in this case for the Railer Express, right on that train. As this gets sent in on Keegan Gordon. Gordon almost some trouble at the side of his net as he played that puck. It's onto the stick of Todoric. Short pass over to Shadanoff. Shadanoff back down low. Sent to the possession of Glavina, though, for the Hawks as he tries to play this puck up. Sent into the neutral zone again. Traverse finds it in his skates. Now onto the stick of Penner. Matejchuk, strong on the forehand. Glide protection passed over to Shadanoff. Now his shot off of the pad and into the corner harmlessly from Gordon. That pass misplay by the Railer Express as they couldn't complete the pass cleanly and keep it in. Now stretched up to Penner as the Hawks headman this up, and Penner ends up having it taken away and sends this down low before going off for a change. Now with some speed coming up, number 21. Taking this around the net for Transcona. That's St. Laurent. St. Laurent now gets rubbed out in the corner, tied up. As Braden Berube makes his way down, activating into the forward check. That shot, side of the net, blocked there by Morrison. Played up to the point now for number 2 in McCorrister. McCorrister now has that one sent past him, and here's a race. Monin beating him to the puck. Monin, can't quite cradle it cleanly enough to get a solid shot on net, however. As Morrison, short pass out in front, taken away by this Railer Express team, but kept in by the Hawks. Dudich down low, gets a short pass to Monin, tries sending it over to number 13 in Morrison. It's now puck back into the Hawk zone. Slipping on the ice, number 25 in Ferguson. As Monin now gets this out into the neutral ice. Picking the puck up as Dudic, but loses it. So he couldn't cradle it with a backhand all the way down for an ice, and it goes. Or no, this one might have been waved off. Or it wasn't, as we got a whistle blown anyways. 12:07, or 10:07 remaining in this period. Draw will be at center ice because I do believe they made a mistake, blew the whistle too early. There was some miscommunication on that icing. Draw won and controlled by this Hawks team. McPherson just before the red line banks this in to the Railer Express zone. So we'll get a hand pass called. As face-off will be back inside of the Railer Express end. Draw will be one to the boards by the Railers. And played out now. Chudley tries sending a pass up the right side to McClure before the blue line, but could not. Van Norman inside his own zone goes D to D. The Hawks defenseman Waddell back to Van Norman. Now Van Norman tries going through the middle in the neutral zone, but off of the skate and kept in. Now turned over to the net, sent to Chudley's direction. The pass couldn't make it there. It's now Waddell. Kicks a pass over to the left to McPherson. Decides to send this one in deep to get on the forecheck. McPherson almost creating a chance from below the goal line, but couldn't get it there. As now Chudley trying to chip this puck past. Oh, almost gets it by Glavina, but couldn't quite get it there to him. Ederson now passes out to Lewis. As Lewis being disrupted a bit with by number 26. He was entering the zone. Howell passes over now as his teammate gets rubbed out. McPherson, just before the blue line, sends it in deep, wheels off before going for a change. Vandenbush tries flipping this out, almost gloved down by Matt Carlson. No hand pass on the play as this gets sent onto the stick of Prudent, but Prudent unable to do anything with it at the blue line. The Hawks flip this one out. Ends up into the Railer Express bench. And out of play. .8:21 left on the clock here in the second period of action. And a 3-1 game in favor of the Railer Express, the home team here tonight on mmjhl Game Day. As at the Railer Express bench right now, Sage Delarone having some equipment troubles, I'm thinking. Right now, Josh Rock is walking around on the bench. And Josh Rock is actually going to be going into this game. Played for this Railer Express team last season. We'll have to get an update on what has happened. As Delarone goes to the bench. Could it just be an equipment issue, or maybe he's a bit banged up from something that may have occurred. Maybe he pulled something. We'll keep you up to date as this game goes along. As getting in on the attack. Down low, Pruden. Along with Turner for Transcona as they look to make something happen on this forecheck. Along the boards now, Gorchanski, his pass out in front. Wide of the net off of the stick of Pruden. Is now getting the speed. It's Berber cutting to the net. Oh, his shot turned aside by Josh Rock. As Charleswood keeps this in deep now. Gets past the stick, though. The body of Johnson is all the way down. No icing on the play. Gordon out to leave it for Johnson. Johnson now looking to thread this through the middle into the neutral zone, but that misses. 17 in Traverse. It goes down all the way for an icing, and faceoff will be back inside of the Hawk zone. Be Jeremy Shadenough to take it for the Railers, going up against Stevenson. Shadenough couldn't quite win this draw, but it gets played back. Number 7, Gorchansky, his shot turned aside and out of play. Off of the stick of Keegan Gordon. Transcona has advertised coming into this game in terms of how they control the shots. 21-14 right now in front there comfortably, and I think they're more so worried about the scoreboard too as well. 3-1 they lead there, a comfortable 2-goal lead for now. But you can never be so sure with these leads, right? You need to continue to play your game. You can't sit back, because the more you sit back, the more the other team will start to build some pressure and momentum their way. And maybe you start to unravel. And for this team, holding leads has been one of their biggest problems so far this season. As a wraparound chance there, Gordon sharp on it. Has now turned over, and the Hawks trying to play this up into transition. Penner couldn't quite cradle that pass. That was behind him. Out there with Traverse as they get on the forecheck, possessing this puck, trying to rim this around up to the point to Waddell, who tries sending that to the net. Penner finds it loose in the slot, plays a pass to Stevenson, who ends up sending it back to the point to Van Norman. Below the goal line now. Traverse tries reversing this back to Penner, but was contested well by a Transcona Railer Express player. It's along the boards. This held in now by Waddell. He unloads a blast as it gets deflected and wide of the net. All the way down into the Hawk zone. Gordon touches the puck, so no icing on the play. Railer Express going off for a line change. Hawks maybe looking to take advantage. Nice pass by Traverse to Penner, but couldn't do anything with that as Transcona converged on him right away. Now trying to get to speed is McClure, trying to get a step past. Van Alstyne almost gets past Traverse, but was disrupted while going to the net. Now here's a chance for Vandenbush in the slot. Oh, nice save by Gordon as Vandenbush had to reload as he didn't cradle it cleanly to start. Now taking the fall, a spill at the blue line, but gets up is number 2 in McCorrister. Sends this down low for McClure, who tries to spin away from Van Norman, but cannot. Hawks finally flip this out. It'll go all the way down. Hits Josh Rock, though, so no icing on the play. Penner couldn't quite make it there in time to catch that puck. As it must have just been an equipment issue for Delaronde as he comes back in for Rock. Rock doing exactly what he needed to do in relief. Making saves, that is. As penalty coming up here on the play. It's going to be 2 minutes for interference coming up. And this penalty will be going to the Hawks. As 2 minutes for interference. On this power play brought to you by Terrico for the Transcona Railer Express. Serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Check out their website at terico.ca for more information. Find out why they're so trusted. Don't know what it is, but these defensemen continue to look like these players in general almost losing their balances. St. Laurent almost did not long ago as this puck sent down on the first part of this kill for the Hawks. As one of the best penalty kills so far has been for Transcona. Let's see how their power play can get things working. Backdoor shot enough. Almost puts one in. This would have been Transcona's second of the night on the man advantage, but for now they have to work it back up top. This gets sent across to Vandenbush. As now it's to Gorchansky. To Vandenbush again. Block shot. Sacrificing the body there is Morris. And Vandenbush gets it back again. Drag shoots. and turned aside by Gordon. So that puck seemingly a magnet on Vandenbush's stick. Doesn't matter if he has it blocked, gets it back. Leaf shot again and had it blocked on the way through and got it back again for a third time. As that first unit goes off for a change, Transcona gets their second unit on the ice. As Trey Sellon, near the ringette line closest to us, passes up top to Todoric. Back to Todoric, now across to Sellon. Sellon, he unloads a shot, glove down, but not handled cleanly there by Gordon. Carlson along the boards, trying to get this puck out, rips it. As he turned and fired that puck down. Oh, trying to get a stick on it there was Elliott Lewis. Off of the Delarone clearing attempt. Now Lewis forces a turnover as this puck ends up down low. Tries sending it to the net. So he had Carlson with him. Carlson gets taken down there for a split second. As this puck now into the neutral zone and brought in again as Carlson has his shot blocked. Goes off for a change with 8 seconds remaining on this Transcona power play. Turned over near the blue line. Now on to the stick of Dudic, who stops up. Dudic makes a man miss. Oh, his shot tried picking that top right corner, but Delarone getting a piece of it to keep it out. Puck sent into the opposite corner of where it came from, into the Hawks zone, as the Hawks now work up with a headman pass. Kicked out to Monin, as Monin down below now, trying to get by a Railer Express player, but couldn't. Ends up at the point and now back onto Monin's stick. Plays it down low for Dudic. In his feet, tries playing it out in front to Glavina, who activated into the play, but could not find him there. Chudley getting in the way of Monin's clearing attempt in. Puck transition by the Hawks again. 3-on-2 developing. Maybe Dudic. Oh, his shot looked like it had eyes heading for the net, but was not meant to be. Now that shot off of the post as Charleswood with some good chances here. This line creating the energy once again as we saw last period when they started to get their offensive game rolling more so. Shadenough just before the blue line sends this in deep. It'll be Gordon who plays this out all the way down for an icing for the Hawks. So they'll get another face-off inside of their own end with 1:57 remaining here in this second period of action. As this draw won by the Hawks. Pass caught by Carlson, who stretches one to Sperber. Sperber backdoor chance, scores! A backdoor feed to Elliott Lewis. A nice vision and awareness from Sperber to get it to him there. As the Hawks cut this lead down to 1 again in the final 2 minutes of the second. We've talked about, transition for both these teams and how things through the neutral zone weren't really opening up against Transcona for most of that first. But in this period with both sides, they both had their chances to come down on the rush. This time around, Transcona doesn't have the bodies to defend that chance. That was a 2-on-1 for the Hawks, and yeah, Carlson going roof daddy on Delarone. It's 25-17. The shots in favor of the Railer Express still. Charleswood making their opportunities count though. As we're gonna get a penalty coming up here to McClure. Holding the stick, so the refs keeping their eyes peeled for that one. And with that, we send it to a power play brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Be sure to contact and check out Gordy Tummelson at gordytumelsongoalies.ca. So he would love to work with you if you are a goaltender. As this puck gets sent all the way down. For speaking of goaltenders, Keegan Gordon coming out of his net, way out to play that across. To Glavina, who drops this back to Sperber. Sperber dancing, slicing his way through the defense, almost finally ends up losing the puck. As this along the boards, you get a close look of it. Sperber, Stevenson going to battle with the Railer Express down low, trying to dig this puck out. I believe, there's some stick checks now. There's some cross checks after the play. So I should say that was Kyle Todorick in the corner. So he went to battle with two Hawks. 44 seconds left in this second period of action now. 1:24 left on the game clock. Or on the power play clock, that is. As this draw kept in by the Hawks. That shot, goes off of a body. Huge block on a good penalty kill from this Transcontinental Express team early in this season. Turned aside by Delarone along the boards. Charleswood looks to go to work. But this gets chipped out and now sending Turner. He has Verchansky with him. Verchansky, just wide of the net for number 7 Sutton. There now Turner tries getting it on net. Ends up in the skates of a Hawks player and a penalty drawn there, and how cheeky it was from Turner to pack Glavina on ahead like he was petting a dog. Pretty unreal to see that, to be honest with you. Kind of funny, to be honest, too. But with that, we end up seeing the Charleswood Hawks effectively ending their power play opportunity here. It'll be 51 seconds of 4-on-4 time. As Morrison wins the draw to the boards, Van Norman goes DDD with Sean. Sean ends up going to a teammate, passes it to Morrison, who tries cutting through for one more chance. Gets taken to the ice with authority by Matejchuk. As both teams chirping each other on the way through back to their respective dressing rooms, as that brings an end to period number 2 here from East End Arena, as the Transcontinental Railer Express up by a score of 3-2. They lead in shots 25-18. It'll be 4-on-4 play for another 41 seconds to start things off. And once we're back in our second intermission, what we'll have for you is the third period, score updates from around the league, as well as a quick little report of what's been going on in this one, how we've gotten to this point between both of these teams tonight. The Charleswood Hawks in danger right now of losing their first game in regulation of the season. For the Transcontinental Railer Express, looking to prove that they can in fact hold what once was a 2-goal lead. Can they finish it off to bring home their second win of the season to start off this Thanksgiving weekend on the right note for them? Will it be Charleswood who looks to play spoiler here in period number 3? That's all coming up here on mmjhl Game Day on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca, brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools Terrico Goaltenders, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Period 3 still to come. Welcome back into East End Arena as we currently have a 3-2 game here. The Transcona Railer Express up 3-2 on the Charleswood Hawks. 41 seconds of 4-on-4 time to be played here before Transcona goes on to the power play. But as for how that second period went, specifically in terms of the goal scoring, one goal scored by the Railer Express, one goal scored by Charleswood, so they split the scoring. In period number 2, it was Jeremy Shadenough with his first of the season. An absolute beauty highlight reel for number 9's first of the year. A silky move to recover the puck and a silky move to finish past Keegan Gordon. And Elliot Lewis ended up scoring his first of the season. A beautiful pass from Tyson Sperber finding him backdoor. Also assisted by Carlson as he's got 2 points on the night. As for the shots in that period, 11-9 in favor of the Railer Express. Josh Rock came in for relief for just a moment for Delarone, as I believe he had a bit of an equipment issue. As for our coverage here of MMJHL game day action, we were in St. Vital last night as the Victorias went to battle with the only remaining undefeated team at the time, and it was that team in the Riels who got the scoring started, and Matthew Trott putting home the garbage out in front as he got a fortunate bounce his way. It would end up being 2-1 after the first period heading into the second, and here would be highway robbery from Ethan Penner on Connor Davis. Beautiful pass, but an even better stick save, as that would end up giving the Victorias, a big-time save, of course. So it ended up being tied at 2 apiece, but then Tyler Rubini doing Tyler Rubini things, going top shelf past O'Sullivan, and Rubini wouldn't be done there. As the Riels make their way down. Cross-ice feed to Bachnecht as he sends that to the net. It's now Rubini speeding the other way, in alone on O'Sullivan again, scores! Tyler Rubini! Tyler Rubini roofs it for his second of the night, and a 5-point night in the Vicks' big 6-3 win over the St. Boniface Riels. If we take a look at the standings, that sent St. Vital to the top with 10 points now, handing St. Boniface their first loss, of course. And as this is another look at the standings for these two teams tonight. If Transcona can win this game, they would end up moving to 6 points. 1 point back of Charleswood. For Charleswood, they're of course looking to keep pace at the top there of the standings to hold a top 3 spot with a win in this game. Well, they will potentially hold the top 3 spot depending on how the rest of tonight's action goes, as 3 other games are in action currently. We'll give you an update on how all of them are going. Currently, it's a tie game between the Twins and the Raiders Junior Hockey Club with 3:31 remaining in the third period there. The St. James Junior Canucks up 7-3 on the Royal Knights in River East with 15:11 left at the St. James Civic Center. This game, of course, 3-2 for Transcona. And for the Jets and Twisters, Stonewall up 3-1 right now. Derek Kaczorowski and King with the goals there. And it's Rory Neal with a hat trick for the St. James Junior Canucks, as they, of course, lead the Royal Knights right now. Huge for St. James to get their best player back, and who many would consider the best player in the league. I don't think it's much of a hard time arguing that, as great as Rory Neal has been throughout his time in the MMJHL. Such a difference maker, and the difference maker's out here tonight. We'll have to see who comes up as one in the third period as the Hawks have made their way back onto the ice. Period number 3 here should bring excitement and some drama. I would not be surprised if things are going to get even more chippy here as you could hear both teams chirping each other as they were making their way off onto the ice. But yeah, Transcona has gotten some good looks on a power play, which they've been, I think, hoping it would get going at 15.4% heading into this matchup. Been pretty good on the kill, and we've even seen them draw some penalties for themselves there, too. Like recently near the end of that second period when Charles Wood was on the power play. Yeah, we've seen the shots get closer as this game has gone along. I think that in that second period, in the first period, the neutral zone was clogged up in ways. Both teams were trying to, stretch passes through connect there, and they were having some trouble. And even skating through the neutral zone, both teams were playing tight up on each other. Taking away that gap quickly, taking away that space quickly in the neutral zone. But things opened up more in that second period. We saw more 2-on-1 opportunities, more odd man rushes created against two teams that have been pretty good at limiting shots against their opponents so far this year. Both teams play with a lot of speed. We've seen Charles Wood, as the game goes along, match Transcona's speed better than they did at the start. But as for this period of play, we're about to get going here. As the puck is dropped and we're underway. With 4-on-4 action for the next 30 seconds now. As this puck, picked up by Vandenbush in his own end for Transcona. The captain surveying his options before sending a short pass up to Matejchuk. As Matejchuk skating it down the left side, stops up, goes cross ice to his D partner in Todoruk, but he was too far out of the zone to keep that onside. As now onto a Railer Express power play. Vandenbush circles up near the blue line before sending it down low. Charles Wood trying to get this puck out, but can't. Turnover forced there. The side of the net by McClure. That shot can't get through for Todoruk. It's now picked up by Chudley. Tries sending it to the slot where McClure was there, but nothing doing. Dudich now sends it in opposite corner just before the blue line. Circles back into the neutral zone. Onto the stick of Berchanski, and now plays it to McClure. Cross ice into the skates of Vandenbush, but Vandenbush able to accelerate off of that and move this puck into the Hawks' end. Gets cleared all the way down for this Charles Wood team with 20 seconds remaining on their penalty kill. Good start to the period for the Hawks. Not allowing Transcona to set up anything that dangerous so far. As at the blue line, Carlson challenging Howell there, but this puck still kept in by the Railer Express. Now huge hit by Van Norman down low in his own end. We go back to even strength as this puck gets sent all the way into the crease occupied by Sage Delaronde. So we've got another face-off here coming up inside of the Railer Express end. This draw will be won by the Hawks. Trying to get possession of this off the boards, but can't. Turner sends this to Sullen. As Sullen tries to reach that puck, but can't. We'll get another face-off coming up here inside of the Railer Express zone. You're watching mmjhl Game Day here on G Show Productions on gshow.ca We got a good one here tonight. 3-2 lead for the Railer Express heading into this period. Both teams start off 4-on-4 in period 3. Now we're back to 5-on-5 as this puck gets chipped out. Chasing it down is Penner. Took a bit of a bump from Jackson Sorrell, though, as this puck gets played up to the neutral zone. Onto Stevenson's stick. Plays it down low to Van Norman as he activates into the slot. That pass went but couldn't connect, so it's out of reach. Penner now gets a short pass over Traverse. Heading to the net. Penner, Traverse couldn't find him with the passes. That got sticked away. And now it'll be Sorrell, who gets almost bodied into the Charles Wood bench there from Sean. Might have been Van Norman who laid the hit, as this gets sent all the way back down into the Transcon Railer Express zone. Turnover forced off of the forecheck from Charles Wood, but turned up the other way by Transcon again. Jacob Howell sends this in deep, where it'll be McClure, who keeps it down below the goal line, forcing Charles Wood to break out 200 feet. Holding that line well was Ethan Morris. Ethan Morris, his shot ends up turned aside there by Gordon. There's no onto the stick of Howe, who sends it up for Chudley, but misses that chance to send this back into the Hawk zone. Now giving chase is McClure, down on Sean, beats him to it, cuts through under his stick with the one-touch deke. But good defense by Charles Wood. Take away that last effort chance. As getting sent to the ice was Vandenbush. No call on the play. It'll be Penner skating up, has a man with him. Cuts to the middle, his shot just wide of the net. As number 6 was looking for number 6 on the season with that one. Puck gets sent all the way down, tipped on the play, but it'll result in an icing. As face-off ends up back inside of the Transcona end. Hawks pushing for a goal or trying to right now. This line that's been really good at creating energy for them tonight, the Dudich line out there with Monin and Morrison, gets to work and they win the draw. Van Alstyne chipped their shot, turned aside just by a piece of the blocker of Delarone. Might have been his stick even. As a rebound left there in front. No one notices Glavina making his way up to activate into the zone to pick it up. Had to open real estate, and number 29 had to make his biggest save of the night so far. Keeps us a 1-goal lead. Glavina this time has a shot blocked by Shot Enough, as this gets sent in deep by Dudich. Going to work on the forecheck. Monin sends this opposite side of the Transcona end. So it's now sent into the neutral zone. Bodies being laid along the boards as Glavina lays a bit of a punch there on number 21 and Jaden McPherson, Noah St. Laurent. As that'll draw a penalty at that for Glavina. His frustration getting the better of him. And with that, we get a face-off coming inside of the Hawks zone on a Railer Express power play that's already scored once tonight. As they'll start off by winning this draw. It's sent down low, and now it'll be Chudley, who looks to circle this up, bringing it back down low in front, scores! Seemingly not that dangerous looking of a chance, but it ends up finding its way past Gordon here. As the Express, for the second time tonight, score on the power play. Chudley and St. Laurent cross up near the blue line. Chudley takes us in down the right side with some speed building for himself. And yeah, able to get a pass through uncontested. Not sure if that found the stick of Chudley or deflected off of a Hawk in front. And speaking of deflections, this one deflected wide of the net by Turner. 4-2 is the score now, the lead for the Railer Express. With 14:10 remaining, pass sprung up to Carlson, able to make his way past and passes it out in front to Lewis, but hits a stick, unable to connect with him. Waddell chokes up on his stick, feeds to Van Norman, scores! And just like that, the Hawks sent answer back in a flash. As the Hawks keep this in, Transcona tried to clear it, but it'd be Waddell who chokes up on that stick again. A useful skill. We used to see Tobias Lindstrom do that quite a bit with his infamous long stick, but allows him to catch that puck in an awkward position. Feeds one quickly, D to Van Norman, and the captain with a very important goal here for Charleswood as we get back to a one-goal game out in front. Puck ends up to the point. Dudich has that blocked by Sellen, and Sellen always feeling that one, sacrificing his body tonight for his Railer Express. As this ends up back to Dudich, tries sidestepping Shadanoff, but gets sent to the ice and turned over onto the Railer Express's possession. Berube sends that back to number 18 in Kyle Todoruk. As this one all the way back into the Railer Express zone now. It's chipped up. St. Laurent gets this into the Hawk zone. As the Hawks bring this puck out again, cross ice. McPherson spins before or after sending that in. It's the puck behind the net now, or in the corner closest to our broadcast angle. Charleswood trying to scoop it out, but can't. It's sent to Berube, far wing side. As McPherson cuts off that puck that was going back to Berube along those far boards. Turned over at the point now. Glavina stepping up, dangles to protect this puck. Glavina, he unloads his shot, turned aside. Rebound there, side of the net. Loose puck behind the net now as Charleswood banging away at it. Ends up going back to the point. Van Alstyne, his shot tipped. Deflected on net, that goes off again. Oh, what a sequence we've had here in the last few minutes. So our sponsor, Make Canada Fasteners and Tools, comes on the screen here, scrolling on your bottom screen. As we drop the puck again for a face-off, that was won by Transcona. Sent right back in, though. Down low below their goal line. This is Matejchuk playing with the puck a bit. Skating around, circling before finding McClure. It's McClure, his pass way ahead of Van Den Busch, but Van Den Busch almost catches up to it. Van Norman first one on it in the corner. As held in at the point by Todoruk and sent in down low to McClure. Side of the net, maybe looked to shoot it first, but hesitated before passing and having his pass intercepted. Penner down with speed now, drops it to Stevenson. His shot off of the skates of Matejchuk. As both teams pinned along the boards trying to get this puck out. It's sent out now to the point. Sean, his shot will be blocked again. A huge one there this time by Todoruk, who breaks away from Sean. Cutting through Todoruk. Oh, can't quite get past the stick of Waddell. The lanky Waddell. Been crafty with the stick tonight, as mentioned. Back right in again, though. Long shot sent in and gloved down by Gordon. From Kyle Todoruk. Michael Todoruk is the one who wears number 18 for this team. Speaking of, is out there right now. Lining up on the left wing side along with his line mate. Shot enough out to take the draw. He wins that to the boards. This gets sent down low. Michael Todoruk, backhand pass. Two shot enough. Down low, goes down. No penalty on the play. Number 9 maybe looking for one there that he won't get. David Johnson chips this along the backboards, pass to Sperber. Sperber's stretch pass gets all the way into the Transcona zone where Carlson will feed it to the point. David Johnson now stepping in. His shot will be turned aside by Delarone. Now out to Michael Todoric, who has 4 Hawks now in his area with no teammates. As the Hawks able to take it away. Sperber for the blue line has this turned over. Now it's Transcona coming in. Turner, he unloads. Oh, his shot turned aside. Left pad save of Gordon. Turner tries sending it down low now. Can't quite get it there. So now it goes around the backboards. Out to the side closest to us. Opposite side again now. It gets sent below the goal line in the Charleswood zone. Battling. Oh, nice job by Mona to take away a stick of a player there. Charleswood going up the other way. Lewis's chip down gets intercepted. And now it's Sellon who goes cross ice. He feeds this to Jacob Howe, who sends this in deep. Gordon out of his net to play it. Almost some danger. But Charleswood survives. Breaking out the other way just before the blue line. Dudich tries sending it in deep. Ends up below the Transcona Railway Express goal line. Sent all the way out now past Glavina. Who will this be good enough for an icing? It won't, as the refs wave it off. Dudich now looking to break up with speed, but can't. Turned over onto the stick now of Chudley. Chudley looks to burn by, and he does. Down the right side, Chudley comes, driving to the net, looking for a wraparound chance, pass out in front, gets to the slot. That shot turned aside off of the stick of Matejchuk by Gordon. Matejchuk shoots again. Now this time deflects high and wide of the net. But the Railway Express get this back up, tipped, oh, just wide off of the stick of McClure. As Transcona so close to regaining a 2-goal lead. Turned over down low now by both teams. Charleswood gets it back though. Short pass Glavina. As this makes it out of the zone. But Transcona had to regroup as it was a delayed offside. Or they just sent it back in. Turned over neutral ice into the skates of McPherson. He couldn't quite catch up to it. Sellon now sends one up to Turner. Turner driving to the net. Down the right side. Takes a spill into the boards. No call on the play. Again as we play on. Dangling through the middle now. McPherson, nice move. McPherson, quick stick handle. Feeds it to Dudich, who shot deflects and goes out of play. Yeah, this line for Charleswood tonight has got into the dirty areas, has gotten in on the forecheck and has won their battles and has created that good momentum, that good energy we've seen from them in the offensive zone. It started with them in the first one they got it going. It's kind of ended with that line tonight in a way. Waddell, he unloads a shot, blockered away by Delarone as Waddell now gets this to the point somehow to McPherson. Now to Bazin, but Bazin can't get that towards the net. This puck ends up out of play. Sven Norman turns towards the far boards before sending it in. McPherson, first one on it, sends this one down low to Enerson. Back to McPherson, now onto the stick of Eros Bazin. Short pass into the skates of McPherson as he goes to battle along the boards with Shadanov. Tries sending this to a teammate down low, but cut off by the Railway Express. And they look to get to transition, but that pass just off the mark, missing the stick of Jackson Sorrell. This will be turned over, no. Shadanov now coming down the left side, driving it, oh, cut off well by Van Norman as he took away his path to the net. The front of the net that was, as Charleswood gets to speed, almost connecting on a pass there was McPherson. Spin around, but behind the back it was intercepted. He goes off for a change now. This inside of the Hawk zone with 6:26 remaining. Jacob Howell past the red line, sends this in, gets blown up afterwards. Number 17 in Traverse. A sent to the net, rebound given up long there from Gordon at the point. Kyle Todorek sends this down low to Chadley. Threads a pass to Vandenbush. Todorek from the point. His shot turned aside by Gordon as his teammates come to protect the front of the net afterwards. Draw will be to the blocker hand side of Keegan Gordon. That's his Hawks still trailing this one, down by 1. They've been trying to chip this at the D a lot tonight in terms of when they get this puck out, trying to create some mistakes off of that to get rush chances. As the Hawks communicating, trying to find a way to work this puck out, but they can. It's turned over onto the stick of McClure, who sends this all the way out of the zone into the netting. Coming up for these two teams, the Hawks will get the rest of this weekend off. They won't be back in action until Tuesday night at Southdale against the St. Boniface Riels. As for this Railer Express team, we'll be back in action on Sunday here in an afternoon affair against the Fort Garry Twins. As we're going to see the face-off location move here, back into the Hawks zone. Ruffs might have determined that it went off of a Hawks player, as this draw won by the Railer Express, now battling along the boards. As getting into it, chippy there is Sullen, taking it to the net now is Chudley, or Turner tries finding Sullen, but that hops over his stick. As the Hawks try to chip this one out, but they cannot. They finally do. Stevenson decides to send this back to allow this Hawks team to control before moving up ice. Glavina trying to go backdoor, almost finds Penner there. Great creativity and vision from 7, but the execution was not meant to be. Sullen almost takes a hit there from Glavina and bounces off of it, spins off of it before going off for a change. So this gets sent to Traverse, who just before the red line gets cut off by Howell. Lays a hit on Howell afterwards. This goes D to D. In the Hawks end, Traverse, short pass over to Lewis. Has Penner with him. 2 men for the Hawks, 3 for the Railer Express, and the 4th who was back there all along for the Railers in Delarone. Gloving it down to get a stop and play here. 4:28 remaining in this third period. Do the Hawks have it in them to tie this game up and potentially take it to overtime here? As down low, Sperber sends that in the direction of Lewis, who gets bodied along the boards by Kyle Todorek, far side. Pass out into the slot, can't find anyone. As Carlson tried finding Sperber. Sperber tries keeping this down low. The Railers able to send it out now, as Van Norman chips it off the boards quickly. Just past the red line, Kyle Todorek sends it in deep before going off for a line change. Charleswood now looking to break this puck up. It's turned over, though, into the slot area. Oh, Michael Todorek had his pocket picked as Vandenbush sent a pass to him. Vandenbush now trying to spin away from the check-in down low. Sort of does as he gets this puck to McClure. McClure sends this back down low. So it'll be work from the hash marks back to Vandenbush, as the Railer Express look to keep it in this corner. Charleswood trying to find a way to move it out. This squirts past Railer Express defenseman now onto the stick, but turned over by Waddell. Vandenbush's shot scores! Well, it seems like it's been clean snipe after clean snipe after clean snipe in this one for both sides. This time, the Railer Express's side benefited and reaping the benefits off of a perfectly placed shot from Vandenbush. And it starts off with some bad puck management. Once again, right, like good on the forecheck from Transcona. They've been doing it all night, being aggressive up on Charleswood. But you got to bear down and find a way to play this puck in a different spot instead of the part of the ice where it's clogged up. Charleswood can't burst through that seam. And Vandenbush skates it in, has a bit of open ice in front of him. And that shot drags before he shoots it, changes the angle a bit to full Gordon. And with that, that goal brought to you by Make Canada Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs is selling fans on a one-timer chance there. They're located in Brandon and Winnipeg. Be sure to visit their 2 store locations. If you're looking for some industrial products, Make Canada Fasteners and Tools is the place to go. As we're into the final 2 minutes, almost, of this game, 2:12 left on the clock. It's the home team, the Railer Express, up by a pair here. Regaining their 2-goal lead not long ago off of a snipe from Vandenbush. As this gets sent onto Glavina's stick. Glavina plays it to Dudic just before the blue line. Now sent to Lewis. Lewis tries dragging, but good defense by Howell. Loose puck there as Sperber turned aside by Delarone. Good initial play by Howell, who, if he gets beat, Elliott has some time and space to make a deke potentially, or be a bit more patient on a shot if he had that opportunity on Delarone. So that's sick of how that disrupts it. Railers didn't do a great job of clearing away that loose puck, though, as Charleswood came in on them fast. As this puck gets sent down for an icing, as Dylan Smith will call a timeout for this Hawks team. Kind of to be expected at this point, as they're in danger of losing their first regulation game of the season. Or losing for the first time in regulation this season, as I should say. And for Transcona, I'm sure their messages from their coaches are, you know, be sure, send this puck out any chance you can. I'm sure we're going to see some icings, you know, if it's strictly just clearing that puck out, if that's the mentality. But you don't want to do anything stupid with the puck. You want to make smart decisions at this time. Against a team in the Charleswood Hawks, we're going to be sending everything at this Transcona Railer Express team, as they do have their goalie pulled, with their best players out as well. Look for an aggressive attack and a team that will be looking to get shots from the point, but Van Norman can't keep it in off the face-off draw. Controlled by Charleswood now as Glavina spins away from Chudley to allow for Charleswood to continue up. Carlson gets it to Sperber. Oh, Carlson side of the net almost banks that past Delarone as this puck goes all the way down. Almost a bounce in favor of this Railer Express team. Just thought maybe that had a chance to hit that open cage. But for now, with 1:06 left, it's still a 2-goal lead for the Railer Express. As Stevenson to take the draw for the Hawks. Finally connecting on a point pass. Glavina sends it there, tipped on net by Sperber from the side. But this puck ends up down low. The Railers content with just keeping it here. The Hawks kick it out towards Van Norman, who plays up. But now this will be to McClure, who looks to beat Glavina. Oh, Glavina, nice job defensively to get back. Maybe a penalty that Transcona wanted there, but they won't get it. As we continue up, Sperber, that pass ends up onto his tape, drops it to Stevenson, tries going back door. Oh, nice glove save made by Delarone to keep this a 1-goal game. Late here in the final minute, Stevenson's backhand chance turned aside again by Delarone, as number 29 is having himself quite the late game performance here in the final minutes with the saves he's been making. A tricky shot that didn't come off the stick cleanly that he just catched a piece of with the glove there moments ago. So with 16 seconds left, this gets sent down for an icing with 11 seconds left on the clock, and all in all, I believe that should pretty much do it in this one for the Charleswood Hawks. With a whack of chances here late in the game, can't put them away, however. As for Transcona, doing a good job pretty much in all phases of the game tonight for the most part. Did a good job of playing with good pace, getting great goaltending as well down the stretch, finally connecting on the power play, and having their top guns come out to play tonight. As it will be the Hawks who skate off with their first regulation loss of the season. For the Reals, back into the win column for the first time since Game 2. Or not since Game 2, but since last week, as they played on Saturday night against the Pembina Valley Twisters and came away with an OT win. This time around, there were times where Charleswood was pressing and was challenging them in terms of tying this game up. A huge key to the game heading into this for Transcona was proving they could hold on to a lead that they had built up. They did just that, and when things got tricky, you know, they continued to punch back and continued to fight. When things were 3-2, they end up making 4-2. And as you saw, 4-3, end up shortly after making 5-3. Shots on goal were 35-31 in favor of the Express over the Hawks. And in this one, ladies and gentlemen, we saw the speed from both teams open up as the game went along. A lot of rush chances, but both teams doing a good job of defending those rush chances as the game went along. This was the type of game where I think for the losing side tonight, Charleswood got better as the game went along. But as for Transcona, they kind of came out, in my opinion, as the better team and maintained a high level of play throughout the whole entirety of these 60 minutes tonight. I think them getting those goals on the power play will give them huge confidence moving forward into a huge matchup coming up against the Fort Garry Twins on Sunday here from Transcona at East End. As we take a look at the standings, Charleswood is going to remain at 7 points. Transcona moves up to a point within Charleswood. And as we take a look at the rest of the play here tonight, to see if anyone has moved over Charleswood. Well, for Fort Garry, that may not be the case, as they're into OT right now against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. Twins tied it up in that third period. As for the St. James Junior Canucks, they end up beating the River East Royal Knights tonight by a score of 8-4. So Transcona moves past River East for now. And as for the Stonewall Jets, well, looks like they'll remain there. They'll keep their spot over the Transcona Railway Expresses. They're up 5-2, with that game just ending in Morris over the Pembina Valley Twisters. But yeah, I mean, for this Railway Express team, a team that played with a lot of speed, was physical tonight, and like I said, got some good saves from their goaltenders. Seemed like at times that pace was too much for the Hawks to handle, but I think the Hawks got more used to it and adjusted to it as the game went along. But, yeah, the big-time players being the difference tonight for the Railer Express when we're talking about guys like Chudley getting on the scoreboard. Shodenough as well, making some beautiful plays and scoring that beautiful goal in the second. And Vandenbush coming through with a huge snipe to basically seal the game away, giving them a 2-goal lead here with under 3 to play in this one. As for the players of the game tonight, in our post-game show brought to you by Make-Cannon Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cards as well. We're going to start off with the losing side in the Pembina Valley Hawks. I really like the way Riley Dudich played tonight. His line was a huge part of sparking the Hawks' energy as we saw it build throughout the game. Anytime this team needed to get something going, that line was at the forefront of it, and Dudich was usually that first forechecker in making plays and, creating high-danger scoring opportunities for his team. This line a huge part in terms of, getting this team's forecheck going, this team's cycle going, and all that good stuff. And Dudich was at the center of a lot of that tonight for Charleswood. As for the Transcon Railer Express, their player of the game, a lot of good players in this one, but I was really impressed with Vandenbush. Thought he played excellent, made a lot of really high-level plays with the puck. Some good hesitation, some good fakes out there tonight, and an absolute beauty of a shot that was on display. Was responsible in getting back in his own end, and also was all over the place offensively, creating chances, whether that was passing the puck away or sniping goals like he did in that 5-3 goal to basically ice this game here tonight from East End Arena. We'll be back here at East End Arena coming up on Sunday afternoon. This is going to conclude our post-game show, ladies and gentlemen, our players of the game tonight. Just to let you know one more time, Riley Dudich, number 11 for Charleswood, forward there, and captain for the Transcon Railer Express, and Nolan Vandenbush. Thank you to our sponsors for sponsoring another edition of mmjhl Game Day tonight. The Transcon Railer Express reached their second win of the season, moved to 2-1-2. For Charleswood, they fall for the first time this season in regulation, moving to 3-1-1. They'll be back in action on Tuesday night. The Railer Express will be back here on mmjhl Game Day on Sunday afternoon, taking on the Fort Garry Twins. I've been your host and play-by-play commentator tonight, Graham the G Show Forsyth. As always, thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our sponsors in Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico Goaltenders, and Make-Cannon Fasteners and Tools for continuing to sponsor us and supporting us here on the network, as well as our coverage in the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. Railer Express winning 5-3 over the Hawks tonight. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you Sunday for Railers versus Twins. Take care.